thing rolling. There we go. There we go. What's popping, y'all? It's a interesting day. Very interesting day. Very interesting. Got Habib. Um, I think that man's going to jail or something. Something's about to happen to that man. I think they took all his stuff. I don't know if they seized it, but the fact that they put that out there, like all his cars and all that, man. Habib, I said it a few weeks ago. That man might be back to fighting soon because, yeah, he needs a paycheck. And call Uncle Dana, see if he can fight in the Champions League or something like that. Like create a league for him because I do need some money for real. But as we get this rolling, I think there's somebody in here. Make sure you share it with people so we can get more people up in this joint. Because yeah, we'll probably stick around for maybe an hour or two. Depends on what my kids allow. We'll see what's up. But yeah, yeah. I'm worried about Habib. I really am. I'm not even the biggest like Habib fan per se, but I feel like he's a decent enough person. It feels like that way. I don't know that for sure, but he seems like a decent person. He treated his parents nice. At least he listened to them, you know. But the fact that he's going through all that kind of sucks. But I don't know. It's weird because like you had the government parading him around when he was champion, like saying how great he was and all that. And now they just, I mean, they couldn't keep this like under wraps, like keep it on the hush or something. But they had to throw it out there like that. Like they threw out all his cars, like all his stuff. Like he has some pretty nice cars apparently. What's up, Tats? What's good, bro? Hey, you know what, Tats? I was gonna ask you, do you play fantasy football? Curious, curious. Cause yeah, I got some a fantasy league that you might be interested in if you do play it. But yeah, I'm curious what people think about this weird Habib situation. Also, I'm curious what people think about um the 12-6 elbow situation. Apparently, according to the newsbreaker Ariel Hawani, the 12-6 elbows are going away in November, is what I read. Or you haven't done fantasy in forever. If you decide that you want to do it, let me know within the next like week or so, because I got one spot left. So just let me know. But yeah, the fact that they're taking away that 12-6 elbows, I'm curious if I already saw on Instagram that John is already petitioning to get his one loss removed. Which I mean, if I were him, I would too. I mean, I think he was already trying to do that, but yeah. What's up, side A? Yeah, I know, I know. I got. Always get some lurkers up in this joint. Bet, bet, bet. Yeah. Oh, Docs, you solicited a raid. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, what's up, JJPB? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? So, yeah, man, I was over here talking about Habib and that weirdness. You said he fought under those rules, though. That's true. Like, I don't think that they can go back and change it. Like, I understand him doing this thing, trying to get that one removed, but I don't think he should. Plus, we all know that there are other fights that he probably did lose, so he should probably be a little quiet. He should definitely be quiet. Yeah. He said, James said, I don't know if I feel like you have to go by the rules to play and play at the time. I mean, nah, man, I don't think you can go back and change it. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, no, I was upset when he got that um got that disqualification. But what's interesting though, if I recall correctly, like they even interviewed him as if he won because they already knew. Like he was beating the crap out of Matt Hamill. Like that was not a fair fight at all whatsoever. He was levels above that dude. And Matt Hamill could wrestle. Like Matt Hamill was a good fighter. He was definitely a good fighter and had a good story. But John Jones was just destroying that division at the time. So is what it is. Is what it is. What's up, Rush? Um, but yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah, Habib is gonna Dagestan trial for tax evasion. I don't know how they do it over there, but like it always sounds, at least to Americans, it always sounds like places like Russia or China have like some of the most ridiculously stringent like um like punishments and stuff like that. Like if they go through something. So it always feels awful going through any sort of trial over there. And I don't know. I like Habib. I don't think he's, you know, I personally don't think he's a top five fighter of all time, but I like Habib. I like his personality. Dude's hilarious to me, especially when he's with DC. They just got a hilarious dynamic. I don't want to see him go down like that. Yeah, no, I agree. You can't retroactively make it a win. It's just, yeah. He said if the knees on the ground legal to the well, and I heard that there is that back. That's back, right? The ground knees to a grounded opponent. So that would make that legal. I mean, yeah, you can't because there's too much cleanup that they would have to do. If they do it for him, technically they would have to do it for everybody. But we know that's not how this all works. If Jones dislocated Hamill's shoulder on the first takedown, yeah, I mean, did Jones do it or did Hamill do it? Like, you know, whatever it was, we all know Hamill lost that fight, but Jones cheated. You know, Aljo's knees were on the ground. It still would have been illegal. Yeah, yeah, probably so. Probably so. Probably so. Yeah. So why do you say so on Mokaev and Cap? Why do you think they moved that down the card like they did? Do you think that that is something like there's something going on behind the scenes when it comes to um, the uh, the weight cutting situation with Manel Cap? Like the minute I heard that, I was like, dude, that dude might not make the weight. That he might not make the weight, and they're sliding it down the card just in case. He says it's a step in the right direction to full equal knees on the ground, but there's work to be done. It is. It is. I mean, I think that they're trying to slowly move that direction because we all know that that's that's a real fight. That's a real fight. Jones did it. Beautiful trip throw. I have to go back and watch that again. It's been so long. I just remember the domination that Jones had in that fight. It was just ridiculous. You think Cap is about to pull out? I don't disagree, dude. Like the dude. Okay, so Frankie did look through this, and he brought up a good point that a lot of the times that he pulled out weren't his fault, but this one might be his fault. He said, "Can't trust Manel. I guess probably won't turn up." It's dude, like he's getting a bad reputation. This can get you cut. Things like this. The Mokai news about his next UFC contract is relatively contingent on him getting the title shot next. Do we even want to see that? I'm not interested in it. But I will tell you this though. Mokaev across the world has a pretty big following. So he might not be a fish that the UFC wants to get rid of, despite how we might feel about him as far as being UFC or MMA purist. Said Cop isn't at the press conference. I don't know. I saw him on the list of being in the press conference. I hope he actually does make it to the press conference because he's super entertaining. He said Khabib has been posting clips of training on Insta. Come back, maybe. I'm curious if he does come back. I actually do want to see him come back, honestly. If he does come back, what weight class would he come back at? Because it ain't gonna be lightweight, and it might not be welterweight. So where is he gonna come back as a middleweight? I don't know. So no, it's just the main, the co-main, and Patty Green. Oh, okay, okay. I wouldn't have been surprised if they threw Manel on there because of how entertaining that dude is. Super entertaining dude. So 3 out of 9 want him to be excited. Yeah. So
Emily, here's the fireworks. And Jimmy, here's the fireworks.
that's crazy.
4 fireworks and 5.
Fireworks during the day is kind of weird.
Yeah, they're out.
Yeah. He would get splattered. He would get splattered at middleweight. That's just too big. I feel like when they go up in weight, it's really the length, the reach that really does them a disservice. But that's just my opinion. I've never been in that situation before, but that's what it looks like to me every time I see them go up in weight. And that was like one of the main reasons that I feel like, and we'll see, but it's one of the main reasons I felt like Aljo would have issues going up in weight. But they would sacrifice some old dude to Habib. Like I could see them doing something like matching him up with GM3 or something weird like that. Because GM3 is gonna want to grapple, and him grappling GM3 is probably cakewalk for him. I can see that though, but like they do that and have him as the third fight on the card on a UFC like pay-per-view, bruh. That would do numbers. That would do major numbers. There's no fighter in the UFC that has more followers on social media than Habib outside of Conor. That's the only person that has more followers than Habib. They would welcome him back with open arms. Allen versus Chikadze is going under the radar. This is a great fight. Is it a great fight? Are y'all high on Chikadze? Like I don't know how good Chikadze is. I mean, and ITP mentioned it in his stream, but Chikadze, I feel like he went from active to inactive, and he just hasn't shown me anything to show that he's going to be, up there on the moving up the featherweight rankings. And I don't think that he's going to beat Allen. I think Allen's going to beat the crap out of him. He's going to do whatever he wants to do. Potential fight of the night for 304. Let me see. I have to really look at this and see. Because UFC 304 is actually pretty solid. It is a pretty solid card. If don't say so myself. Let's see what's up. Let me pop that up here real quick. Let's see. You know what? Honestly, I think it might be Molly McCann against. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that. It's never going to be that. I think maybe CLD against RoboCop. I feel like you can't go wrong with that fight. I feel like that's going to be the one. Somebody's getting knocked out, right? I mean, it's got to be. Got to be. How long you been doing ASMR, bro? That's my kids, man. That's my kids. If you have kids, which I don't know whether y'all do or not, you can't control them. They do what they want to do. So yeah, I'm gonna let them do their thing, make their noise, and hopefully they chill out. The loud one is my 3-year-old. He's a maniac, an absolute maniac. But yeah, no, I think that CLD against RoboCop is probably gonna be fight of the night. I think that'll be the one. But Arnold Allen against Giga could be a dope fight if Giga kind of reverts to the previous form that he had. In his last fight, he just didn't show me that. He didn't show me that at all. You want RoboCop to win, but he's getting knocked out. You really think that? I don't know, man. RoboCop is hard to finish. He is really hard to finish. I thought that he was going to lose against, I think it was Chidi and Njokuani. I thought he was going to lose that fight, but Dude is tough, man. That's a tough dude. It's almost bizarre that he's not even ranked. That just shows you how good middleweight is. Middleweight is a really strong division. Might be the second best division in the UFC. Said I think RoboCop will win. CLD wastes too much energy doing dumb shit. Well, yeah, he's not. His fight IQ is rather low. It's rather low, and RoboCop he's coming along, man. Like he's really impressed me for real. He's one of my favorites in that division. Not my favorite, but he's one of my favorites in that division for sure. For sure. Have y'all seen the ESPN top 10 rankings that they put out there? Like they put out the top 10 male fighters of all time? Let me see. Oh, since 2000. Since 2000. And they put out their top 10 female fighters since 2000. I haven't looked at the females one, but the males one, it's incorrect. It's not right at all. So RoboCop doesn't move his head. RoboCop can't move his head. He's incapable of moving his head. That's just not how he fights, or how his body works at all whatsoever. It's just he's just gonna have to take the punch. That's just how it works. RoboCop is a better offensive wrestler or defensive wrestler or both. What does CLD do well? I'm curious about that. What do y'all think the CLD actually does well? Not to say, I'm not saying that he's garbage. I'm not saying that he doesn't do anything well. But what do y'all think the CLD actually does well? I'm curious. Yeah, dude. Okay, check this out. Let me pop this up here real quick. Y'all got to check this out. If y'all haven't seen it already, I'm gonna go down to the bottom of the list. So you got Kamaru Usman at 10. Um, he does well from the outside and he's patient. See right there that we already got some conflicting information. Um, you say he's patient, and others might say that he's not very smart. That's what I'm saying about CLD. He's I don't. The jury's out on him right now. This is a good litmus test to see how good he is. It really is. He has diverse striking. Yeah, he uses all the buttons on the control. Yeah, he does. But I don't know if he has anything for RoboCop. I don't know. So Kamaru Usman at 10, I don't have an issue with this. I don't have an issue with this at all, to be honest. I don't know if y'all do, and I don't know how highly y'all rate Kamaru Usman, but his his record cannot be disputed as far as the win streak that he ran off. So I ain't got no problem with that. BJ Penn, okay, I have a problem with that one. I think the BJ Penn is great, but he got a lot of losses, man. Like, and it's not necessarily that he has a lot of losses. It's that his wins don't balance out his losses. That's my issue. And yeah, it's not good enough to be top 10 since 2000. I think there's a better fighter since 2000. I think Alex Volkanovski has a better resume than BJ Penn. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, let me see. Chuck Liddell. Yeah, sure. But nah. Would y'all put Chuck Liddell in your top 10? I don't think Chuck Liddell's in my top 10. You say you like BJ, but him being over Kamara and Aldo is crazy. It is. It is. It is. It is. Kamara isn't top 10 for you. Interesting. Where is he, top 15? Is he top 20? Is it an aesthetic thing? I don't know. Nah, I ain't famous, bro. Just got a few lurkers in here chilling. Um, Wait, back to CLD. You said he's patient, but he's still pretty dumb. Um, yeah, that's so he's patiently dumb. He's a patient dumb person. Okay, okay, gotcha. I don't know if that's good. Is that is patient but dumb inactive? Yeah, probably. You said this is Dana's top 10. Well, I don't know. This looks like a Brett Okamoto top 10. That's what I feel like this is. This is where this is coming from. Brett Okamoto. And because Mark Ramundi is not there anymore. He's doing football stuff. By football, I'm talking about American football, not soccer. Um, so yeah, nah. Um, you said he's under Pajeda. I don't have Pajeda. I don't have Pajeda in my top 15. He's done some amazing things, but he nah, he ain't in my top 15. I need a little bit more. I need more title defenses, more work. What's up, Phil? What's good, bro? Um was digging the stream. Was digging the stream. And and the seventh layer of hair video. That was a good video. I really like that one. Um and I like Paradox. I like that you put like the stream now, everyone in caps, because that needs to happen. That definitely helps. But yeah, so Phil, what do you actually Phil and Frankie, where do y'all have Chuck Liddell on your all-time list? Is he top 15? Is he top 20? Top 25? Where do y'all have him? Because he don't make it for me, bro. Like, I mean, not saying that top 25. I he's top 20, I think. I've never really gone out that far with it, but I think he would be top 20. I'm pretty sure. I think. Yeah. I feel good about that. Top 20. Probably 20. Maybe 19. I don't know. But definitely not 8. I can tell you that for sure. Randy Couture at number 7. Um Seven's high, but I think he would be in the top 10. I think he's a 3-time UFC heavyweight champion and 2-time UFC light heavyweight champion. Now the heavyweight one, is it because the division was so thin? And then the 2-time UFC light heavyweight champion, he got title shots, and I think the difference between him and somebody like a Dustin Poirier or Uriah Faber, who some feel like they got title shots that they maybe didn't deserve. He capitalized on the ones that he didn't deserve. So maybe him being in the top 10 is relevant. Maybe that works. I don't know. Tats top 20 for you? Okay, okay. You say I'm not familiar with that elderly gentleman. Dude, Chuck Liddell was a star. You know that. Um, Chuck on the top 10 is like putting Babe Ruth on the MLB top 10. Now, Babe Ruth does deserve to be in the MLB top 10, though. That's deserved. You got to look at the numbers. Now, granted, he was playing against all white people, so I mean that you, there's the asterisk. That's the asterisk that needs to be there. You want to put one for Barry Bonds, you got to put one for Babe Ruth too. Randy had a weird career. He did have a weird career. Like BJ had a weird career too, though. Um, the fight against who was it, Cal Uno, and then him leaving. He fought Lyoto Machida at light heavyweight, I think it was, or maybe even heavyweight. I don't know. Um, and then came back. Like he had a weird career too. It was a weird time in the UFC for sure, and he was kind of subject to that issue for sure. Let's see. Let's move up. Fedor. Okay, here we go. Now Fedor beat Antonio Nogueira, Mark Coleman, Kevin Randleman, Mirko Krokop, and Mark Hunt. Okay. So Mark Coleman was a heavyweight champion. Kelvin Randleman was a heavyweight champion. Krokop was a Pride Grand Prix champion, I believe. And then Mark Hunt fought for a belt, but that was much later on. He was a K1 champion. Is that good enough to be on this list? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. The Rico Rodriguez loss is bad. Yeah. Um, I don't know, man. I think I have Fedor top 15. I think I have him top 15 somewhere. It's just I don't when you're fighting in at the time period he was, and there wasn't as much cross pollination as far as like the type of fighters or the people that he was fighting. It's hard to gauge, but he was putting them away. He was beating who was in front of him. I just wish that at some point he made his way into the UFC. Um, and maybe that's not even his fault. Maybe that's more, the negotiations and Dana's fault. But it does take a toll on your resume when, just imagine if, you're comparing Michael Jordan and LeBron James, and Michael Jordan did all his damage in the ABA. And you're like, well, you didn't play in the NBA though. So there's got to be a mark against you. So I don't think I would have Fedor in my top 10, unfortunately for him. I mean, I recognize what he did, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'd have him in there. Habib at 5. No, this is a firm no for me. Um, I don't have Habib in my top 10. Um, I think I have him at 11. I have him at 11, but I don't think I have him in my top 10. You said the Pride heavyweight division was far better than the UFC at the time. It was. It was. It was. It was. But but I don't. I wanted to see more. It's the same. It's the same problem I have with Habib. I want to see more under the bright lights. I don't have Fedor in my top 5. I don't have Habib in my top 5. I recognize what Fedor did though. I definitely do. I don't know about that, Docs. I don't know about that. I don't know because here's the deal. Like you got Dan Henderson. Should Dan Henderson have been somewhere on this list as well? You know, Dan did some pretty amazing things as well. Vanderlei did some pretty amazing things as well. So Shogun did some pretty amazing things as well. Like I almost put them in their own category. Shogun, Fedor, when it comes to bringing in what they did in Pride. Dan Henderson does have a solid reason to be in the top 10. Dan Henderson did some amazing stuff. He really did. And a lot of people who are newer to MMA don't recognize what Dan Henderson did, especially over there in Pride. But Habib, nah, this ain't it. Number 5, nah, bro, that's too high, too high. All right, number 4, Mighty Mouse. Okay. Tats put it out here. You got GSP, DJ, Fedor, John, and Anderson. I mean, I ain't gonna fault you on that. I just, I don't know. I don't know about Fedor, but if you throw him in there, I respect it. You said Dan Henderson was a two-time two-weight Pride champion, of course, UFC 17 tournament winner, top 5 wins in 3 weight classes. Yeah, yeah. If there was an MMA Hall of Fame, he's first ballot. Unfortunately, there isn't one, but he would be in it for sure. And Dan was not scared to fight anyone. And he has one of the most viral KOs of a person that you could ever even dream of creating, in what he did to Michael Bisping at UFC 100 at one of the biggest shows of all time. Dan Henderson is goated for sure. And he probably deserved to be mentioned on this list somewhere. Did they have an honorable mention? They don't even have an honorable mention. They should have one. They definitely should have one. How do y'all feel about Mighty Mouse being number 4? Nobody has more title defenses than Mighty Mouse. I wish that Mighty Mouse were able to go back to bantamweight. I know he fought Dominic Cruz for the belt. It was earlier in his career, but that would have been dope if he were able to be a two-weight champion. But regardless of that, it doesn't even matter. Mighty Mouse is easily in the top four, if not, should have been in the top three. I think that most of the time these top four are interchangeable. A lot of people move these up and down. You're outraged. I know why you're outraged, because Mighty Mouse is four. I mean, I can't argue. And I remember when you brought up Mighty Mouse being the GOAT for you, and there was no argument for me. Like, I can't argue it. Like, for what he's done, um, is just he's good at everything. He's good at everything. All right, Anderson Silva, number 3. Now, what's up, Crossover MMA? What's good, bro? Um, so for Anderson Silva, a lot of people discount his career for what happened at the end of it. Or at least I'd say newer fans discount his career for what happened at the end of it. I don't at all, because I consider how old he was when it happened. In comparison to what I said earlier about BJ Penn, BJ Penn was a much younger man when his career started to slide. Anderson Silva was not. He was sliding at the appropriate time when it should have been going down. Anderson Silva was the mythical fighter who almost didn't even seem real when I watched him. I don't know if it was like that for y'all, but like, I feel like everybody has one of those people for them, one of those fighters for them, and that's that guy. Like, what he did to Forrest Griffin was just absolutely ridiculous. What he did to James Irving, both of those fights in light heavyweight, in which he should have been fighting for a belt. At the time when he fought Forrest Griffin was the 4th ranked light heavyweight in the world, and he made that man look stupid. Like, if Dana wasn't tripping and allowed two-weight championships at that time, he would have been a two-weight champion. No question in my mind, for sure. Anderson Silva, 3 might even be too low. It might even be too low. He said Silva didn't lose his title until he was 38. No other GOATs. You exactly, dude. He was 38 when he, like Tat said, was screwing around in that first Weidman fight. He was 38 and he was favored to win in that fight. We talk about Volkanovski when he fought Topuria. Volkanovski was 35. We talk about him like he was old. Bruh, like, Anderson Silva, like, I know people gonna mention like the steroids and yada yada yada, man. If you ain't cheating, you trying. These fighters go up to the line on what they can do and what they can use, and sometimes they go past the line. It's just what happens. And he may have had a tainted supplement. I don't know, but do I think that he's like a blatant cheater? Nah, I don't think so. And that just may be my personal preference, but Anderson Silva is like I said, 3 might be too low. It might be too low. You'd have Silva 1, bro. Yeah. 35 is different over 170. Yeah, it is. But at his he wasn't even 35. He's 38. He was closer to 40. 35 and 38, 2 different ages. If you've been 35, I have been 35. If you've been 38 and I have been 38, those are 2 different ages. What's up, Rick Allen? You said, who's going to have the balls to tell Francis that he isn't going to see his dead son again because an afterlife doesn't exist? I'm not going to tell him that. I believe in afterlife, but even if I didn't, I'm not telling Francis anything like that. You know how big that man is? No, that's stupid. If you value your life, you go along with how he feels. GSP at 2. I have no problem with that. GSP for me is always going to be either 2 or 3. I never actually put GSP 1. I don't know why. I don't know. I never put GSP one. You said that was out of pocket. Yeah. Yeah. I never put GSP one. I don't I don't know why. I'm not sure, but I never put him one. I always either have it depends on the day. I either have John Jones at one or I have Anderson Silva at one. That's just I never put him there. Even though I respect what George did, he's a legend and he deserves to be in the top three. But uh I'll always be those, make those interchangeable. And of course, John Jones is number one. There's no question about that. It is what it is. Even though I think he lost the Dominic Cruz fight, which that might be on the rewatchables. If y'all haven't seen that series or that video, I did a rewatchables with my wife on the Sean Strickland and Dricus Duplessis fight, where we watch the fight, but we score individually each one of the rounds, but we do blind scoring, so we don't tell each other. Put it in a bowl, and then we count up the scores at the end. I think I'm gonna do the same thing with the John Jones and Dominic Reyes fight because my memory says Dominic won, but I want to see it again without just looking at it round by round to see. Let's see crossover. You said John Mighty Mouse GSP Silva 5 is the tough spot for you. Yeah, it is. I mean, for me, I have Aldo in my top five, so it's for me at least today. I'll say John GSP, Anderson, Mighty Mouse, and Aldo. That's what I would say. You said Dominic Cruz would probably be John Jones. Uh, Did I say Dominic Cruz? I meant Dominic Reyes. Um, you know what I meant. Don't do that to me. I think a better way to determine the goat is thinking of it as how good they were at their peak and all the challenges and risks they took. It's not a bad way to look at it. It's not a bad way to look at it. Okay, so Aldo over Volk. I do have Aldo over Volk. I think that Volkanovski is, and I know that Volkanovski beat him. I know. Yeah, that's true. Um, I just think that Aldo had a better run. And that's not to say that Volkanovski had a bad one. That's not to say that he had a bad one because he had an amazing run, a legendary run, legendary. And it's not over. He can still make some noise there. But I just feel like I personally put the WEC and the UFC runs together for Aldo. 9 title defenses. 9. Aldo had 5. Exactly. Aldo didn't lose at featherweight for a decade. Yeah. It's actually not even a hard thought for me to put Aldo there. He said beat him in 3 wins over Mike's is tough. Max is tough. Yes, it is. And I don't dispute Volkanovski's resume. Volkanovski is actually my wife's favorite fighter. Um, and I love Volkanovski. I love his personality. Um, Jose Aldo, I don't know his personality at all. But but that being said, it's just I always value what a person does under the bright lights, the brightest of the lights, when the stakes are the biggest, and how many times they go into that fire and come out successful. That's why I weigh um, title defenses, title fights, um, a lot more heavily than maybe other people do. It's just what it is. See, Max is above Aldo. Featherweight is the most contentious goat debate, I think, because they have 3 viable options. And Max beat Aldo twice as well. So yeah, like it's tough. Aldo also doesn't have many champions on his resume. That's true because he was champion for so long. Hard to beat other champions when you're champion so long. Wouldn't you say that? You know, again, using a basketball analogy, Michael Jordan, was a 6-time champion. There were nobody else using or winning championships during that time. No other champions to beat. So you can't really ding him for that. Aldo's beating all the guys. Just it is what it is. Aldo and Fedor were burdened with serious injuries when they finally lost. Yeah, they were. Yeah, Aldo was so good in his prime that he would have been a 3 division champion. I think that I was surprised that he didn't go up to lightweight. I was waiting for that to happen, but it was weird. It was weird that he went down to bantamweight to me, or to yeah, to bantamweight. I didn't think that was even possible, because you remember during that time they were always saying that he was having struggles with cutting weight and things like that. But he's cutting weight magically. He's, what is he, 37 now? And still cutting weight. Made Jonathan Martinez look like he didn't know how to do MMA. You know what I'm saying? So Aldo's a legend, a legend. See, weirdly, I'd have Aldo higher on the GOAT list than those two, but not the featherweight best. See, it's weird, right? It's weird. Um, but I have Volkanovski in my top 10, like not even far behind Aldo at all. Like I have Volkanovski very, very high. Max still has time to move up that list, though. I almost wish that Max stayed at lightweight. And Frankie, you talked me into it. I wish that he stayed at lightweight and challenged Islam for that belt. Because if he would beat Islam, he would have skyrocketed up the GOAT list for me. Aldo wanted to fight Pettis when he was lightweight champ, and the UFC said he had to drop the featherweight title to do it. Dude, this is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm talking about. When they talk about, the things that Connor did, and they bring up the fact that he was a two-weight champion, like I always, again, here comes another asterisk. Like I got to put an asterisk there, because the reason that he was a two-weight champion and others weren't were all about politics and the money that he brings in. And fair play to him for doing that, because it opened up the floodgates for other people. But you can't tell me that Jose Aldo wouldn't have at least challenged for the lightweight belt, or challenged for another belt in another division, if he were allowed to. Hmm? He said, I think the best fighters at their peak involve both Aldo and Volk. Yeah. And like Volk, when he fought Max the third time, he was probably the best I've ever seen a fighter. Yeah, when he fought Max that third time, he that was not a close fight. That was not a close fight at all. I think that Max won the second fight. That's on the rewatchables list. That's on the rewatchables list for sure. But I think that he won that second fight. So where do you have Volk and Max all time? I have Volk either 7 or 8. I have Max. I'm not sure. I don't know where I have Max. I'd have to really think about it. Even after the first Islam fight, I was still there. Not sadly, not anymore. Sadly, yeah. Um, I don't know, man. I'm worried about Volkanovski for sure. That dude is a shell of himself. He looked good for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds in that Taporia fight, and then he just started to look slow and unsure. So I have Volk, Max, and Aldo all in my top 10. So where do you have? Let me think. Where do you have Kamaru? Do you have Izzy in your top 10, top 15? I'm curious, man. Like y'all need to make some spreadsheets or something. Dan Hooker is almost as good at getting murdered as actual Hook. Dan Hooker is an exciting fighter, man. It doesn't always go his way, but he's exciting. Cannot say that that man is not exciting at all. How old is Dan Hooker? I wonder what his goals are. Like, is he just going to be a fun fighter now? Because I mean, I can't see a path to him getting a title shot. He's gonna have to make a serious run and beat some dudes really impressively. I don't know, man. Dan Hooker's got an interesting career. I thought when he fought Dustin Poirier during COVID, I think that that might have been the best Dan Hooker that we will ever see. And Dustin Poirier might have took that with him when he left. That's just my opinion. But Dan Hooker, he looked so good during that fight. Like I thought he was gonna finish Dustin, but nope. Nope. Yes, please send me that link. I am very curious. Well, if Dan Hooker's goals are bad tattoos, he has clearly succeeded. He's clearly succeeded. I don't know which tattoos are worse, his or Cody Garbrandt's um, recent tattoo. That one's pretty bad. That one's pretty bad. Um, Somebody brought up again on ITP stream. They brought up the tattoo that Kevin Lee has. Oh God, that is awful. That is awful. But I will say that people have work to do if they think that they're going to get past the hamburger helper hands that the former light heavyweight champion had. Like Jamal Hill's tattoos are goated as far as being tattoos. He will never be the goat of bad tattoos with Cody about. Like, dude, the goat of bad tattoos, I think it might be Jamal Hill, man. That's a really bad tattoo. The sword on the face is insane. It wasn't well thought out. But he's not known for being somebody that really is a deep thinker. It's definitely Cody, a dagger that doesn't line up. Yeah, it it's quintessential Cody Garbrandt. Quintessential. He said, "Bro, you should get Cody Garbrandt's new face tat. I feel it look good on you too." I'm not getting any face tats, man. Too old for that. That's just that's irresponsible. Not getting no tattoo on my face. That's a firm commitment. It's a firm commitment. Think about that face tattoo when you get to be 50, 60. You know how dumb you're gonna look. You look dumb when you leave the tattoo parlor, and then you're gonna look extra dumb when you're going to get your AARP card. Like, dude, no, no. When you're at IHOP getting the senior discount with a tattoo on your face, nah, ain't gonna be me. Uh-uh. That's not age appropriate. That's stupid. Sean gonna look insane. He's gonna look really, really weird. Oh, let's see this. Okay. I'll check that out. But in the meantime, let me see what they are talking about for the women. Oh, you got the whole top 25. See, I haven't gone to 25. Like last year, I made a my top five bantamweights, featherweights, and lightweights. And I didn't even finish, I didn't even go into the rest. Some other things start popping off, but um I might have to go back and revise that list. I made a top 10 during that time, but things have changed. People have won, people have lost. Things are different. So I had to revisit it. But yeah, I haven't gone to top 25. That's so much thinking. Like even when I saw Chuck Liddell on the list, I was like, I don't even know where to put him. I have no idea. I gotta go look at his stats and what has he done? Because I mean, he's a legend, but man, dude, you're tripping, bro. You're tripping. Tapology is nice. They let you make rankings. Yeah, Tapologies. I used to look at stuff on ShareDog all the time, and then Wikipedia is Wikipedia, but Tapology is probably the best way to go when you're looking at fight stuff, for sure. Absolutely. Let me see what they're talking about for these women. I know everybody doesn't like women's MMA, but I do. I mean, I even watched the WNBA, kind of a little bit, but I value what they do. Do you think that they should do Bryce Mitchell versus Benal Dariush, the battle of the Bible thumpers, to determine the best Bible thumper in the UFC? Dariush would fold Bryce Mitchell up if Bryce Mitchell stays around for his punch to finally land, because he throws some slow punches. Not to mention, Benil Dariush is damn near 170er. He just barely makes 155. Bryce Mitchell would never be a one. Well, I ain't gonna say never. He's not right now a 155er. Dude, Bryce Mitchell versus Nate Landwehr. Do you hate Bryce? Nate the Train will. I don't think that he needs to be in high contact fights right now. Not the way that Josh Emmett folded him up. Like, I don't want to see that for Bryce. I like Bryce. I don't want to see him get murdered like that. We gotta put him in a fight where there's some more grappling involved. Cause yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Y'all don't like Bryce? Y'all don't care about his well being? Y'all clearly don't. 'Cause Nate is a very violent and very odd man. I like him though. It has to be in the parking lot. Yeah. No. I mean, I ain't gonna say I wouldn't watch. I most definitely watch. Your thoughts on Connor firing Mike Perry from BKFC via petty tweet? Dude, Conor McGregor is a minority owner of the BKFC. I don't. He's silly. That ain't real. You know that. You know that. They should do Darius versus Makachev to determine the one correct religion in Islam or Christianity, and the fight settles the score. I will say that I did want to see that fight though. When that was something that was announced before, like I feel like that's one of the fights that got away for sure. Yeah, yeah, it is surely bullshit for sure. BKFC is zero without Perry. Yeah, like who? If you take Mike Perry out of BKFC, do you know anybody else that's in BKFC? Like name somebody that's in BKFC without looking it up. I like Bryce, but he's reached his ceiling, I believe. Yeah, he has. He has. But I would prefer to give him somebody that's a little bit more on the grappling side. It's still a relevant fight for him, but let's just give him a break just for a second. Did you see Leon and Patty's shorts for 304? I did. Patty shorts, they're very orange. It's very orange. Yeah, it's very Sakuraba of him, but yeah, it's they alright. They alright. Leon shorts, uh, they're okay. They're okay. I kind of like the flags on it. It's cool. It's cool. I had no problem with it. It's not like I tell you what shorts I didn't like. I didn't like Alex Pajeda shorts. I didn't like them. I did not like those at all. They look like underwear that you get from American Eagle. Not a fan. I really hope. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, I still have no clue why they didn't make Islam versus Benny. Timing, injuries. That's all that is. Yeah. Could Bryce do well if he took time to bulk up to lightweight? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he would. It would just be a string of knockouts. The 304 doesn't have enough real heat and hatred on the card. 305 has genuine hatred with Izzy and DDP, and that's great. We need more hatred. Um, I don't think by the time we get to it that there's going to be any heat on that because DDP is being a very nice guy. Um, and I don't think that Izzy's going down the the racial route that he was going down initially. I think that by the time we get to the fight, it's going to be very, very simmered down for sure. Um, let's see. Yay. Oh, JJPP, you said PB. You really hope Frankie, or hope not Frankie, but I can Can't trust Connor at all. The dude is snowing too much. He does a lot of snow. He really loves it. I'm trying to figure out when he's going to go to rehab, or has he already been to rehab? And would it be for drinking, or would it just be substance abuse all around? It's got to be coming, right? I hope that the purple and orange shorts are available for all the fighters. Yeah, I'm I'm curious when they're going to combine those um, for Matt Frivola. I'm sure he's petitioning for it, but he got to get some more wins before he gets some customized shorts. So you think Leon's are the best customs? I think that Zhang Wei Li has the best customs. I think so. You tend to agree that Bryce is cooked, but he's still just 29. People get cooked at different ages, and that knockout was really bad. It was really, really bad. We'll see though. Like if he comes back, gets knocked out again, then we might have a potential Tony situation. Hatred is good for marketing. It does make it more spicy, but it's not that I'm wishing that. I just think that's the way it's going to go. I don't mind if they hate each other. That's them. Whatever. As long as it doesn't throw off the fight actually happening, I'm cool with it. Say what you're gonna say. I think the only press conference that rubbed me the wrong way was Kobe. What he said about Leon's dad. That was out of pocket. That was too far. Didn't like that. Or the Ian Gary Neil Magny thing that was awful. I didn't like when Ian Gary wore the shirt with Jeff Neal's mugshot on it. That super pissed me off. But that's just you know that's a black being in Dallas. You know, Jeff Neal is from the same place, and I know how that whole thing goes, type of thing. So that was more personal. But both of those situations really made me despise Ian Gary. Sometimes being young and losing like that derails them entirely. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Bryce lost in the most despicable, ridiculous fashion that anytime you lose and they make it a t-shirt, like you got a lot of climbing out of that hole to do. Cause that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Michael Bisping, it took him a while to get back to where he was supposed to be after Dan Henderson made him a t-shirt. Said Jeff Neal didn't deserve to be arrested. They didn't even breathalyze him or anything. Exactly. And he's walking around with a t-shirt with his mugshot on it. You know what I'm saying? 296 changed Bryson, not for the better. Was even contemplating retirement. I think he probably should have. I'm not saying that he should retire. That's in his hands, but he should definitely think about it after that. Said, but if Neil really does beat his kids, he should probably hold back on that because it doesn't really help much, especially later in life. I don't think he beats his kids. I don't think that that's what was being said. Now, that's what Ian Gary was saying, and that's what he was implying. And that's anytime your trash talk goes outside of the person that you're fighting, that's when I, kind of raise an eyebrow because it's like, dude, they can't defend themselves, but I can. Talk to me, not them. You think Bryce's brain would be safer if he moved up or bigger guys hit harder? So no difference. I don't think it would be safer. I think this is where the whole us not knowing enough about what CTE does until somebody dies is detrimental to not only this sport, but any contact sport. We don't know how that's affecting Bryce. It may not, he may be, super tough where this is not going to affect him. We don't know. He may come back in his next fight and smoke whoever it is. But to me, like you got to take that time and ease yourself back into it. That's why I was totally against Volkanovski bouncing back after that Islam fight to fight Taporia. Like I felt like he still needed more time. I feel like he might have been able to take that shot a little bit better if he had a little bit more time. But now, two knockouts in a row, you know, are we seeing the ultimate decline of Volkanovski? Same thing goes for Bryce Mitchell. You get knocked out in unbelievable fashion. Like you gotta take some time, bro. So you can't wait for JDM or Shavkat to make Ian's head spin. I know that Ian is calling for that fight against Shavkat. That is such a mistake. Such a mistake, especially based on what we just saw him do against MVP. Like he's not on that level, dude. He ain't on that level. And JDM will fold him up too. I think both of them beat his head in for sure. So, like, I think he needs to chill out. He needs to be calling for Kobe again because he can't fight them dudes. And it hits ridiculously hard. He does. He does. Absolutely. That overhand right is, and we talked about that not too long ago. That overhand right might be the most vicious overhand right ever. It might be the most ridiculous overhand right ever. I don't know. Dan Henderson's overhand right was pretty nasty too. You gonna be checking out the Beetlejuice sequel? Yeah, Michael Keaton is amazing in whatever he does. I'm gonna check it out. Probably at home. I don't think I'm gonna go to the theater to watch it. I think Shavkat waits and gets the title shot now if Leon wants to fight again this year. That's what you should do. There's no point in Shavkat fighting anybody else at this point. There really isn't. If he fights somebody else, it's really for the fans because he doesn't need to fight JDM. Even though I think JDM has the best win in beating Burns, JDM was very close to losing that fight. He was very close to losing that fight. If he didn't pull that out, he might have lost on the cards, on scorecards. You think Bryce should move up if he keeps fighting? Why though? Why do you think so? Is it because of brain health, or what would be the reason that you think that he should move up? I'm curious because nothing that he says as far as his weight cutting, as far as his preparation, or anything like that lends me to think that moving up would be better for him at this point. I don't think he has any issues making 145, but yeah, I don't know why he would move up. But maybe you know something I don't know. You said you're going to the cinema for that one. Tim Burton deserves cinema viewing. Tim Burton is amazing. I'll say that. I'd say that for sure. He is amazing. I don't know, man. I don't know. You might talk me into it. Tim Burton is pretty dope as far as the way that he puts things together. And the people that they have in it, I think they're bringing back a decent amount of the cast from before, as far as like people who are alive. Yeah, it might be worth it. Might be. Brain health. I get it. I get it. And maybe he has. I don't know, man. Because like what he does, as far as like the way that he fights, I feel like going up a weight class is going to be a disservice. Um, yeah, yeah, a talent discrepancy. Yeah, probably so, man. Like he's semi one dimensional. When is it out? I don't know when it's out. Let me see. Let's see. September 6th is when it comes out. So got a little time to think about it, but I don't know. It might be worth it. It might be worth it. Have I done any martial arts? I did like a little bit of karate back in the day, but who didn't? Most of my stuff was getting to many altercations on the street. So if anything, I'm more Kimbo Slice type trained than anything. So just going out there and fighting random people, and if you fall, you're on the concrete and you get stomped. So don't do that. That type of fighting. Um, yeah, September. I'm actually super excited to watch Deadpool when it comes out this weekend. And I don't know if I'll have time to do it this weekend. I know my son is actually really pushing me to do it, but we'll see. Um, Bryce is a grappler. Adding muscle mass would benefit his style. No, it would, but how much muscle mass can he pack on to fight somebody who's a natural lightweight? I mean, it's only 10 pounds, but it's 10 pounds. I mean, we'll see. Like we'll see when we see another grappler go up there. Um, when we see Ortega, he's going to fight at lightweight. You know, I don't know. I don't think that he's put on a lot of weight. So I'm very interested to see how he does, and I'm also very interested to see who it's going to be against. I heard that it might be Charles Oliveira, which that's a big jump. That's a big jump. Um, you said Kimbo is how your brother got into MMA, and as a byproduct, I got interested. Yeah, Kimbo's a legend, dude. That's a legend, man. Super, super scary dude to run into on the streets if you're trying to fight somebody. But he seemed like just the nicest person. No, I was definitely not 387 and 0. No, no. I wouldn't be petitioning anybody for my O. I lost some fights for sure. But that's how you get better. You gotta lose. You gotta lose. I give people credit when they come into the UFC and they don't have these padded, ridiculous records where they're 23 and 0 or 12 and 0 or whatever. Like you learn a lot when you lose. You definitely do. Sometimes you learn that you don't need to be doing this no more. There's a lot of fighters that haven't realized that. Tony Ferguson is one of those people. Doesn't know when to hang it up. Let's see. Let me look at these people. Who in the world? I'm looking at this women's list. Yeah, y'all don't want to see it. I'm gonna skip that. It's got people on there that don't nobody want to talk about. I'm skipping it. I'm skipping it. So let me go to this weekend. Let's talk about this weekend. So you like it whenever fighters come in with losses on the record, dude? I do too. It just shows me that they're real. They're real. Go outside, man. Um, I think Natalia Silva came in. She had like 5 losses on her record. But if you go and look at her record on Tapology, she's got the 5 losses that she has are to legit fighters. Like she put herself out there. She didn't win, but it's made her better. And you see how she skyrocketed in in the division because of it and how good she is. So like you got to put yourself out there. You can't come in here with these ridiculously padded records. So can we get a poll for Oliveira versus Ortega, please? You know what? That's a great idea, bro. That's a great idea. Let's see. Let's put one up. I am curious how y'all feel about that because and how y'all think that fight is going to go. Like, do you think it's going to be all grappling, or because they're both grapplers, do you think that that's going to make it a striking fight? Because especially with Brian Ortega going up, that's nuts. So you hate when fighters are too selective with who they fight. It messes up everything up matchmaking wise. It depends. It depends. Like when you say too selective, like what do you mean? Like for instance, if Shafkat being where he is right now says, I don't want to fight nobody, I only want to fight for the title. But at the same time, you got somebody like Bilal who said the very same thing and people held it against him. Like, what's the difference there? Because it's the same thing. It's the same thing. All right, Tats. Um, all right. There we go. Let's see what y'all think about that. But yeah, like sometimes people are waiting to fight for a good reason. Sometimes they're waiting to fight for stupid reasons, like Michael Chandler. Like he what is he waiting to fight on? Like Is it a stupid reason though? If you were Michael Chandler, would you wait on Connor? Do y'all think that he's dumb for waiting on Connor? Because I don't know, man. That's a lot of money. And if he were to go fight somebody, let's say he fights somebody else in the division, yeah, I know they're lurkers, bro. They're lurkers. Um, if Connor were or Chandler were to fight somebody else and lose, then he loses the Connor fight. So shouldn't he be waiting? Like, what do y'all think about that? Said it's his only option now. Is it though? If he came to the UFC and was like, "Look, I got to fight. Like, I need some money." Now, obviously, they would just say, "Well, we'll just give you some money right now." But if he was like, "No, I really need to get in there and fight," and you don't think they would offer him a fight? You don't think that they would give him Jalen Turner, somebody like that, somebody that's in the top 15 but lower down? No, I was saying Western. If you were Chandler, Michael Chandler, would you be waiting to fight Connor? And Frankie said that it's his only option. I don't think it's his only option. I think if I were Michael Chandler, I might be waiting too. Even though he does look very homicidal right now, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. By the way, it looks like at least in these three votes, most the three people that voted think that Ortega will win that fight. But yeah, I mean, it's been 3 years. I may have waited a year, maybe, but dude, this is a long time. This is a long time for the money. It has to be, dude. Yeah, I think that Chandler. I'd wait. I would wait. Yeah, I'm with you, Docs. Like I'd probably wait too. I think. I mean, I know that he's very confident, and I think that he thinks that if he fought somebody else, that he would win. But he's got a losing record in the UFC. So are we really confident of that? Now, mind you, he's lost against top tier talent, but yeah, what's he gonna do? Just lose more? I don't know who he is anymore. I don't know what kind of fighter he is anymore because of how long it's been. So it's hard to say. Active Chandler, the one that was fighting, I think he beats fighters in the 11 to 15 range. He might be the same guy. I don't know. I mean, he seems like he's in shape all the time, but I don't know. And actually, when we've talked about it before, like I was leaning towards him to beat Connor purely on focus. It says 2022, the end of 2022. Well, he ain't fighting the rest of this year. If he does, it'll be the end of the year. So that'd be 2 years. How about that? 2 years. Still a long time. Still a long time. So I don't know, man. It's a long time without a relevant paycheck. But then again, maybe the pay isn't the thing. Like he's irrelevant at this point. And if his goal to beat Connor, is that his ultimate goal? Like I don't know if that's what is gonna give him the icing on the cake of his career. Beat Connor, I guess. That makes you happy. But I thought he came to be a champion. Maybe it ain't. Connor's a professional skier, not the sport. He thinks he's a sport, but I don't. He doesn't even exist as an MMA fighter anymore. And Connor, or not Connor, but Chandler should also be taken out of the rankings as well. That dude is still ranked. Let me see where he's ranked. Is he still 5? Where is he at? He's 6. Nah, man, that dude shouldn't be ranked. He shouldn't be ranked at all. It's just a mockery of what the sport's supposed to be. What's up, Matua? 2 years is a crazy break, and I'm honestly doubtful he gets the Conor fight. And if he does and wins, does nothing for his career besides pay. That's true, because if he beats Conor, um, then they're just going to say that Conor's washed. If he loses to Conor, then it's a terrible loss, and he'll probably get knocked out of the rankings. And now he's got to fight a nobody. So I don't know if this. I mean, it's the money, but it ain't even really a win-win for him anymore because of how long it's been. Now we got, and this is another reason that the Ultimate Fighter is garbage, is because now we got 2 Ultimate Fighter um seasons that resulted into nobody fighting each other when it comes to the people who were the coaches. So he will get the Conor fight in December, and it's worth it for the money. If he gets it, I guess, yes, it's worth it for the money. It is. Waiting for Conor is idiot at this point. He has to wait for Conor. Maybe it's the smartest thing to wait for Conor. I'll say that. He doesn't have to wait for Conor. He can fight somebody else, but it's not worth it. The risk doesn't weigh out. Deadline for that date if he doesn't get it to move on. The end of the year, maybe. I know I didn't watch the whole interview, but I did see an interview of him talking about that fight and talking about moving on. But I need to watch the whole interview. Um, because it's a pinky toe, according to Conor. Like, Alex fought with a broken foot, and I'm not saying that Conor should fight with a broken foot, but it doesn't take that long to heal. It's worth waiting a few extra months and potentially taking a fight for way less and get smashed and lose it. It makes more sense financially to wait, but he probably should put a deadline on it. But he will lose that month. You lose all of this time, which is the thing that he can't get back. He'll lose money, the opportunity cost, and it'll just he'll look like the dumbest fighter in the organization. But maybe he already looks that way. Chandler should have never got that fight in the first place. Who should who should have gotten the fight if it wasn't Michael Chandler? I mean, I'll tell you what I don't want to see is I don't want to see Connor versus Dustin again. We've seen that. We've seen it 3 times. The first time was so long ago, and the last 2 times were definitive. I don't want to see that no more. The Connor versus Max fight, there's no point in that. It's 8:18 p.m. here. Um, yeah, like who else is Connor gonna fight? That makes sense. How do we know that Chandler is getting paid way more to fight Connor? Probably a stupid question. Well, I think that Chandler is going to have in his contract, and this is kind of the benefit of coming over as an established fighter who is a champion in another organization, having your contract that if you get to a certain level and if you are fighting a certain person, like maybe a main event, or sometimes they have a specific clause in there for certain fighters that you get pay-per-view points, and that's how he's going to make that money. Yep. He'll get pay-per-view points because we don't get a title fight on a number card. Exactly. It'll be pay-per-view points that push him over. So give the people what they want. Conor versus the old man. He attacked at the bar for refusing to drink. At this point, I might give the old man some couch cushion money, put that on the line, because I don't know who Connor is anymore. I have no idea. Um, I don't know if the snow is taking over. I don't know. Yeah, with Connor, like I think that um, Chandler he's backed himself into a terrible corner, and the only way fighting Connor is not the only way out. It is the best way out. It's the best out of a bad situation because if he goes out there, like he has to do two things. He has to go out there, beat Connor, and then fight somebody else in a relatively short window of time in order to solidify himself as who he thinks he is. Because I don't know what his goals are anymore. Before I knew what his goals were, I knew he wanted to come in and be champion and make the biggest splash he could before he left. But this Connor situation has really derailed him as far as like where he's trying to go. And now I don't know what he wants to do. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's the pay-per-view points. Pay-per-view points are everything when it comes to the UFC. For sure. For sure. Um while I'm thinking about it, make sure y'all subscribe to um not only me but Bad MMA Man, Frankie and Jax. Um Anybody that's in the chat that has their own channel, definitely subscribe to those folks. I don't say it enough. I just kind of got talking on the stream or whatever, but make sure y'all do that though. Make sure y'all do that though. Yeah. Wait, did he? Oh, he didn't put WMC. WMC is easier because Western Mass Climber is kind of long. It's cool though. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Throwing Frankie up there, man. But yeah, that list was that I was mentioning earlier. It's wrong, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's got I'd say probably 6 to 7 of the right 10. They may be in a different order, and everybody puts the fighters in a different order. It's just I don't like when they throw people on there that are just absolutely bizarre, but it was all right. It was all right. Um, so I'll throw this question out there. I'll probably be on here for maybe another 5 minutes or so. My kids are outside in the back jumping on a trampoline, and I gotta make sure they're not murdering themselves. Um, but what fight on the card do y'all think on 304 do y'all think will be fight of the night? I know Frankie threw that out earlier to me, but I'm curious what y'all think. Because this card is it's pretty good. I don't know. I think Frankie, you mentioned that you thought it was maybe the second best card of the year. I would probably say third best. I actually say that UFC 300 and UFC 299 may have been better, but I don't know that because this card hasn't happened yet. So we have revisionist history on those, on how those turned out. And this one we're kind of speculating. So we'll see. This card may be a dud. It may be awful, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm curious what y'all think is gonna be fight of the night. Who y'all think is gonna get knocked out? Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah. And you know the Brits something's wrong with that boy. The British bias, I get it. I get it. Yeah, dude, like 300 is up there for me because of the gravity of the event, and I think that yeah, you can drop musical and brutal as well. I think that 300 was dope, man, because of they did put a lot of pressure on themselves with that one, but I ain't gonna say it delivered 100%, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. You think Arnold Allen and Giga Chikadze is gonna be fight of the night? It could be. If he comes to fight, if he comes to fight, we shall see about Giga. I don't know about Giga. Who did he fight? He fought Bruce Leroy, I think. And that was a way closer fight than it probably should have been. Um, while I think that Bruce Leroy is better than people give him credit for, I still think that Giga should have walked out of there with a more confident fight. I think. You think Allen will wrestle to a decision? Um, maybe, maybe. I think Allen. He really impressed me when he fought Dan Hooker, and actually even in that loss against Max, that fight was pretty close. Even though I'm certain that Max won, it was a really close fight. It was a really good fight. Arnold Allen, I rate him very, very highly, and I really think that he should walk through Giga and do whatever he wants to do to him. Fighter of the night, Molly McCann. Sub of the night. Does Molly? I don't know about Molly, man, but I will tell you this: she does look in amazing shape. She looks in. You can't really call her Meatball Molly anymore. You cannot. Um, let's see. Allen beats Sadiq Yusuf on the feet. Yes, Arnold Allen to me is he's just a couple of bad rounds away from being in the title uh picture. That's all it is. Yeah, I think that he'll be good. I think that he'll be good. I think that he might even. I think the Giga kick is. I mean, he does a good liver kick for sure. He does a really good liver kick. But that being said, Arnold Allen is good in a lot of different areas, and as long as he stays away from that little liver kick, he can do whatever he wants to do to him. He'll do whatever he wants. Yeah, I see you, Paradox. I will. I'll figure out a way to mod you, bro. Don't you worry. I'll mod you for sure. But I think I'm gonna wind it down. Is anybody going live? Anybody else going live? Filet mignon, oh, you're wild. She looked nice and lean. Her most recent fight, she did. She looked in amazing shape. She's taking her fitness very, very serious. Calling a liver kick the Giga kick is just. I mean, that's just what he calls it. I guess I don't know. It's just a liver kick, and he's good at it. He's good at it, but it's not that. It's not that amazing if you're not putting anything else with it. He didn't do nothing to Bruce Leroy with it. So if you can't take out that level of fighter, then I don't think you should be looking up. You should be looking right where you're at. You are a 10 to 15 fighter, and that's just what it is. Oh, Paradox is going? Okay, cool, cool, cool. But yeah, man, I'm gonna wrap this thing up. But tomorrow me and Frankie are gonna go through the card on Frankie and Jack's channel. We're gonna go through UFC 304. Um dude, lurkers help with the numbers when it comes to YouTube. So pushing the stream up so other people can jump in. So even if they don't say anything, they still help. So I ain't gonna get mad at them. I ain't gonna get mad at them. I thought you were gonna go live. Do you think Aspinall is gonna get put back on his back or put on his back? Um, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Appreciate it, JJPB. I don't know. I have to really think about that. I will tell y'all this about the Curtis Blades and Tom Aspinall fight. I'm torn. I like Tom Aspinall a lot, and I think that he's the best heavyweight in the world. But Curtis Blades is a really good wrestler. And if he can avoid getting clipped, he might be able to do something to him. He might. So I think it's a very interesting fight, and I think that the likelihood of Curtis Blades winning is far greater than the likelihood of Bilal winning. I'll say that much. I'm not hoping or wishing one way or the other because I like both of them. I like Curtis Blades a lot as well. But it's a closer fight than a lot of people realize. But Tom could just knock him out. He could. But Curtis Blades only loses to the top of the division. He only loses to the top of the division. So what do you think about the UFC class action lawsuit? Do you think UFC made a fair settlement offer? The UFC is never making a fair settlement offer for anything. I don't trust anything that they do when it comes to settling with plaintiffs. It's going to be fair. They are a big organization, and they're going to act as such, and they're going to take advantage at every turn, just like any other big organization in America. And Curtis Blades got ragged out by Johnson for a bit. I'm less worried the more I think about it. He did get thrown around a little bit, but I think that may have been by design. I think that he knew that he could get some shots off in those clinch situations. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. But so I'm gonna jump off. Like I said, tomorrow, Frankie and Jax. Make sure y'all jump in that thing. I think that we'll post it early so it can be shared out and all that. Because we need more people in here, more people who aren't lurkers, more people who are active like y'all. We need that. And also, if you haven't jumped into the Discord, make sure you do that as well. I don't know if one of y'all can post a Discord, but definitely do that. See Life Project live in a half hour. Okay, cool, cool. Wait, before I go, let me read this, bro. Do you think it's kind of funny the UFC is making their UK fighters stay up into the wee hour? Bruh, I made a whole video about it. Like, it's disrespectful, dude. I hate that. I hate it. They should make us have to see things later because the fighters are the ones that are important. They're the ones that are important. But anyway, I'm gonna jump off. Appreciate y'all jumping in, man. I'll holler at y'all.